Yeah. I want to start reading self-care books. You want to join me?
I'm actually reading one right now.
What are you reading?
I'm reading You Are a Badass by Jen Cicero.
Is that like a girly one, though?
You know what?
I need one that's
Kev I
like...
want him to read that one. No, I don't feel like it's a girly one. I think that You Are a Badass is actually a great...
so say it again. What's the title?
It's called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero.
Okay.
And I'm loving it. I'm doing a chapter at night and a chapter in the morning.
Nice.
I go to the gym in the morning, so I drop off the kids at school, and then I go to the gym at 8 o'clock. And I work out right now for about an hour.
Yeah.
I start. I'm meeting with a trainer tomorrow.
Ooh.
To show me the ropes. So I'm doing that. So yeah. I don't really do. Well, I do resolutions. I
was
just
just
don't
gonna
talk
say
about
yay
them.
or nay. I don't. You know what? I'm the same way. I don't do resolutions.
talk.
I do goals.
Yes, I don't. And you
like
know me.
that.
I don't talk about them because I feel like once you talk about them, you cock block yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's funny because people will talk about them because they need what's the word? They need
Reassurance,
that accountability.
Yeah, not me.
And I'm like, no, because you know what? I'm a goal-oriented person to begin with. And I set goals, like for 2019, I was already setting them. Happy New Year, Patricia.
Happy New Year.
I've been setting them even before the New Year. Like, I want to get organized.
Oh, well.
And I'm an organized person to begin with, but I really want to get organized.
Whiteboard Kevin. Are you doing your whiteboard, Kevin?
Oh my God, I
I
thought you
do.
were just
I have
calling
a
like
white-
White Boy Kevin,
White
Whiteboard
Boy
Kevin.
No, I have a whiteboard in my bedroom. I am horrible with it though. I'll put
Oh, no,
things
I'm
on it,
good.
and it just sits there.
Oh, like I used to be like they were talking today on the news about planning.
I like what Rob said.
Right? Like planners, like
Yeah.
actual planners. People need to write them down. Now I'm more of a digital planner now. I got rid of my planner, but I like to make lists. And I'm not one of those like, oh, my list is so long, I'm depressed. No, like I like to see the list, but I really want to get organized. I want to get like...
Well, how do our listeners get organized?
Yeah.
I actually...
got tips?
Yeah, well, I have
Tricks?
a whiteboard because I have it's on the wall, and once a month I put all the family activities. They have to go on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Just so we can keep track because there's a lot. I have a little planner, a little book planner, and I put them in my phone. Too, so I'm
Yeah,
covered. I'm covered everywhere.
I have an iPhone. I use what's it called? iCal.
Okay.
Oh, I love
Whatever
the
that is.
calendar.
Oh, but real quick. So I like to do audiobooks, and I found one. It's called Unfuck Yourself.
Oh, I'll have to do that one next. Yes, You Are a Badass. Unfuck yourself.
It says get out of your head and
That's
into your
right.
life.
Yes, that's what. Okay.
And I literally just typed in. I was going to type in self-care, and I just typed in self, and it was like the first choice, and I said, oh yeah. Just
There
the
you
title,
go.
Unfuck Yourself.
I love that. Well, and
I haven't started it yet.
I think you would like You Are a Badass. There, Kevin. Kevin's gonna come
Because
in.
like my Nicole Rizzo, who listens to us, she got a self-care book, and it was like something like, it was one of those girl boss books, and I was like, oh, awesome, but I don't want to read that. Sorry.
So,
Am I being like,
Rob Nicholson? No.
Chauvinistic?
No.
I don't know.
No, because you want to you have to relate to what you're
Yeah.
doing. I think You Are a Badass you can relate to.
All right. So
Rob Nicholson said cozy calendar. We just got a Happy New Year from someone. How do I scroll down?
You gotta click and
You
drag.
gotta
finger
do
it.
that. I'm fingering it right now.
From-
Helene.
Helene, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
Okay,
Chelsea too.
Chelsea.
And Fran
but-
says, that's Kevin Lynchy.
Hey,
Hey,
yes, it is.
Kevin, I know. He needs a mic too. I feel like we could just all be.
He's just going to talk
Come
loud.
on,
He's
I
just
know.
going to yell.
He's gonna yell.
Oh my God. Unfuck yourself.
So it's You Are a Badass, Jen Sincero, Unfuck Yourself.
I should say who the guy is. I
Yeah,
feel like.
yeah. Say who
Hold
wrote
on.
it. 'Cause we want to give a little promo.
Unfuck Yourself by Gary John Bishop.
So that's another great book.
He's Scottish.
Oh.
So the audiobook, it's him talking in...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, I
Yeah.
don't, Rob.
So did everyone have a good... I had a holidays.
holidays. Yeah, it was good. The first half of my holidays was good. The second half is kind of shitty.
Well, I want to say happy birthday.
Thanks.
First, Danny has a birthday on the 23rd. How old are you now? Will you tell her?
36.
Oh,
Holy shit.
old man. I'm still older.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She beat me to it. I was going to
Kev
be like,
is the
wow.
babe. Kev's
well,
the
I'm not
babe
the
here.
oldest here.
Yes.
Kev's the babe.
Mama Bear's
I know. Hey, all right. All right, let's ease on up on that. No, I am. I am but I'm my number might be a certain age, but my inner number is much younger.
Yeah.
We'll say.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Three.
Sometimes.
36. So I'm like, that's officially like Is that considered late 30s now?
Yes. You are late 30s because you're
mid-30s.
Mid, right? I'm like still in the mid.
Mid to late.
You're on the cusp.
You're on the hyphen.
You're on the
But
cusp.
I'm liking,
of it.
I'm a, I don't know, like I'm a weirdo with numbers. My favorite number is 9.
Really?
And I also like 3 and 6.
I don't
'cause
think
it's
I have a favorite
3
number.
Is, 3 is.
I like 5. I like divisible
Yeah,
by
so
5.
my whole thing is 3,
Rob,
6,
Rob, you're
9.
44. I'm not even going to tell you how old I am.
Are you
I'll
more
tell
than
Gina
4
later.
Are you more than 44?
No,
I was
but
like-
still, we are, Rob,
Like I was like,
we are like twins,
because
kind of.
you're
We're like
my-
Irish twins.
You're my sister's age.
Yeah. I'll tell Gina how old I am later.
So
So yeah, Danny had a birthday. So
was
open
fun.
your present. Open your present.
It's
So
fun.
Danny and both Kevin, actually, they both spoiled the shit out
oh
of me.
my god,
So-
this looks delicious.
So I was like,
yes!
it is a cream cheese. What is it?
A period cupcake.
Oh my God, Kevin.
A period-
No,
what?
It's
no.
a period cupcake because it was on its period.
Yeah.
The bag.
See
You
how
threw the
classy.
bag.
But it's not blood. Ooh, okay. I'm not
No,
gonna
it's
go
just
there.
it's oil.
Unless
But
it's
I
velvet.
said to him, "Don't say that on the air." Ooh,
I'm sorry.
It's all right. He can't help himself.
It's Howard Stern,
It's
yeah.
it's a cheesecake chocolate cupcake for your
That looks delicious. Thank you
know.
so much.
You're
And I need this because
welcome.
my dad has the shingles.
Yeah, so talk about that really quick. That's awful. Shingles
So-
are terrible.
Yeah. So he went to like the urgent care on my birthday. And I
Oh
was in
my
the city. I was
God.
in the city doing my birthday extravaganza, and he went to urgent care and he got the shingles, but he has it in his eye.
Well, that's when it's bad.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
that's when it's bad.
So he was suffering through the holidays, and then he finally went to. He had to go like follow up with his eye doctor, and they sent him to the hospital because he's got a really bad infection.
Did he not have chickenpox when he was young?
I think he did, but they say it's like in you if you. It's so weird.
I
Listen,
thought I had it at one point.
He's been in the hospital since Friday. They did not tell us to wear masks. Monday. No, when was New Year's Eve? Monday.
Monday night.
Monday, he gets moved finally to like his room. Like he was in the emergency room, then he was in observation. We get there on the door, airborne precaution. We have to wear masks every time we go in there, and we're like, and they're like, oh, because he, it's airborne, it's contagious.
Yeah.
Like he can give you something, you can get, and I'm like, but we haven't been wearing them since Friday.
You're like, too late.
And they were like, really? I was like, great, thanks.
I feel
hospital."
bad because being in the hospital, trying to sleep in a hospital, they're
No,
poking at you.
yeah,
I had the stomach flu.
I feel really bad for him, and he's so cute because he's like, how's? And then Felix was sick on Saturday because I think
no.
that's like my dad's best friend.
Yeah. He's
Felix
like your
is
best friend.
No, he's my fur baby.
He had the flu.
I
This
had the
one.
stomach flu.
Oh,
I got sick
puking.
last Thursday. And
Yeah.
12 hours of
That's
vomiting.
just-
It was horrible.
I'm just trying, and it's so funny because this is going to come
Bye,
in handy.
Fran.
This muffin's going to come in
Yes.
handy because one of my resolutions is to go back to the gym and to go back to Weight Watchers, and I haven't yet because I'm stressed out.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's hard. Listen,
And
even
I'm just
today,
going to keep eating my muffin.
listen, I ate my feelings all during the holiday.
I know, but it's
And
like,
even today, I was like, and I was sore. I was at rehearsal last night. American Idiot, by the way, opening January 9th.
soon.
And we've added another show on the 13th at 6:30 p.m. because we've sold out already 2 of the performances. So it's definitely
On
an
the 9th, so
explosion.
Wednesday.
We open Wednesday, Thursday, and then but we're sold out Friday, Saturday, wait list only. Rob, you better be there. And we've added Sunday. The cast is phenomenal. I love this age group. It's the 20s. Jesse Bush is great. I was just telling, they're all great. I mean, I have to tell you, but Jesse's a great Johnny. If you don't know American Idiot, it's based on the album by Green Day, and we're just having a blast. We're in the black box, so it's going to be an explosion of emotions. Your senses,
All over you.
It's like all over you. So it's fun. But that opens Wednesday.
I can't believe that. I'm actually doing a reading on the 8th. I'm doing a reading. So we have a new play coming up next month, A Better Place to Be, written by Steve Fredericks. And it's commissioned through the Theater Alliance and NJ-PAC. So we did a reading at NJ-PAC, and I read the stage directions.
Oh.
I read, yes, the stage directions. So we're doing a reading at Writers Theater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's Tuesday.
Speaking of readings, I'm actually doing a reading at the Growing Stage. You know this?
What? Who asked you to be in a reading?
Becky.
Really?
Me and Leela.
She said she... Oh, my God. That is awesome because she hasn't sent me her
Yes.
cast list yet. Oh, wait. So real quick. So
Yeah.
we have our New Play Reading Festival, and I'm the director of the New Play Reading Festival, and all the directors have to get their cast list approved by me.
Oh, shoot.
So she hasn't sent it yet, but she copied me in an email and she to the playwright, and she says we have a real life mother and daughter.
Yes.
She's so. Did she send you the script yet?
She did. I said, Leela, you have more lines than me.
Yeah.
But it's reading, so I'm excited. It's cool.
It's Dear Anne from Nina. It's a Anne Frank piece.
Yes, and it's based on and it's Anne Frank's.
It's the main character Nina. So wait, Leela's playing Nina. Okay,
and I'm playing
so
Alice.
real quick, the main character Nina gets a pen pal, and it's Anne Frank.
Yeah.
It's Anne Frank, and they're writing back and forth,
Yeah.
and we all know what happens with Anne Frank,
Right?
And yeah,
So yeah, that's us. So
oh my God,
I'm
that's
sorry,
exciting.
Becky and Nick, if I outed you, but we're doing it. So that's
that's
nice?
exciting, and that's Sunday.
January 27th.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it'll be
Yay.
fun. So a nice little acting thing.
Good. I'm glad she asked you.
And I had
because I wanted to get you in one of the readings.
Yeah, and she, but it's so funny because every time I do a reading at the growing stage, I'm always a mom.
But now you get to do it with your daughter. That's really special.
Oh my God! But the first one I did, Becky was my daughter.
Oh my God! I directed that reading.
I can do multiple.
I directed that
things.
reading.
Yes, you did.
Becky was your daughter, and Lori was your mom.
Was my mother-in-law.
Oh, mother-in-law.
She was my mom.
That was a good.
That was a good piece. That was a great piece.
What was it called? Not waving.
Not waving.
Waving. Not waving. And now it's
that was a great piece.
Oh my God! That made my day.
Good.
That you're doing that.
Happy
That really did. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Becky Nika.
Can I tell everyone that I'm wearing new boots? So I got these awesome.
Can you show us?
I'm going to show you.
Can you like lift your leg up, or are your jeans?
But my legs hurt because I've been going to the gym. But I'm going to do it.
Oh my God! Here.
Ready? Look at this. Wait, my leg.
I like the back. I like the back.
And they're real leather.
So for those of you who are listening and not watching, you'll have to go on Facebook to see the boot. Is this hurting you?
No. Stretch me more.
Here, we could just put it like right there.
There we go. Yeah, so these are called Freebird.
And they smell nice. Can I smell them?
Can I tell you that our room smells completely like leather now because of these Freebird boots?
Did you get them was it a gift?
It was my Christmas gift.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, from Todd. So
all right, I'm gonna put your leg back down.
I'm like,
ready?
She's like stuck now.
I'm like,
get the
how am I gonna move? So I've been so hesitant to wear them. I do want to go to her store. I am gonna go. That's a goal for me. So I saw these boots online. I was like, oh my God, they're so expensive, but I just totally need to have them in my life. These are gonna be my forever boots. Plus, they are leather. Yes, they're leather. So they'll last. So when I opened up the box,
I was gonna say, is there something wrong with leather?
No, God, no. But when I opened up the box, our
PETA?
whole
I don't know.
I know. I got a faux fur collar. Did you see my faux fur?
No.
I got this awesome faux fur collar from my mother-in-law. I got like a lot of great gifts, and I gave great. It was just like it was a super dope Christmas.
Yeah, it was.
That's what I'm gonna say.
I wanted
super dope.
I don't know, like part of my self-care is video games.
Yes.
Why not?
So I got a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And
you got it.
I got it, and I'm playing Super Mario
won.
Odyssey right now. Wait, what are you playing? Are you like Xbox?
PlayStation, and Ian's got me into PC games.
Okay.
But I also like old school stuff like Nintendo 64.
Well, I haven't had a game system. I have a Wii. That was the last thing I had. Before that, it was PlayStation. And I was like, you know what? I want some mindless entertainment. Where I'm just sitting there. And I wanted the Switch because it's portable. And I have yet to use it on a big screen. Like, I've only been playing on the little screen. And I just found out you could watch Hulu on it. And YouTube. So I can go to Lauren Moran Mills' YouTube channel.
Yes, you can.
And Kevin Lynch's
Go to Lauren.
And I could watch it on my Switch.
Lauren Moran Mills
Careful
YouTube, Kevin M. Lynch YouTube. Oh, no, is it just Kevin Lynch?
Kevin Lynch NJ.
Kevin Lynch NJ. Follow us
Kevin
on
Lynch
the socials.
NJ.
So really quick, so I want to get him on the phone. We have 1 minute. Brian Gallagher.
Yeah, we're really excited about this.
We're calling all the way to L.A.
So wait, it's what time is it there? It's 3 hours
Yeah,
behind. So wait, do the
10:30.
math. Is it
It's 11.
11:30?
No, 10.
10:30.
So Brian Gallagher, and he's even says he's the husband of Megan Hilty, who we all know her from Smash, but again, Broadway veteran, wonderful
she's
actress.
on Wicked.
Yeah, I mean Broadway girl, and he's releasing on January 22nd. There'll be a hard rock musical called Brownstone. I'm sorry. And it's based on a concept album I think I hope I'm saying this correctly, that he wrote about a serial killer and the people that she murdered come back to haunt her. But I love that it's a girl serial killer. I love that. So I'm going to go get him on the phone while Danny talks.
Because Lauren's a girl serial killer. No, I'm kidding.
Hey.
I'm kidding.
The FBI is going to, don't you...
You have the laptop on?
Kidding. So if you're just joining us, Happy New Year 2019. We're so excited to be back here in Boonton. It's a little cold in the studio today, but that's because Kate, who has the show before us, wasn't here today. So we're warming it up over here. But if you're just joining us, we're really excited because we have Brian Gallagher, who's a Broadway vet, appeared on Jekyll and Hyde, plus some other shows, and he's also a singer, songwriter, guitarist, and he's got this brand new hard rock musical, Brownstone, coming out later this month. So Lauren's actually getting him all squared away to join us. So again, if you have any questions for Brian, please ask. We'd love to have your questions answered for him. So just comment on the Facebook, and we'll ask him for you. And of course, give us likes and thumbs up and all that fun stuff. Lots of love. We need the love, especially in 2019. We need the love. So Lauren's actually getting him all squared away, and as she mentioned before, we're calling him in LA. So it's actually 10:30 a.m. So it's not a good afternoon, it's a good morning to him. So she's getting that all squared away, calling him right now. Again, if you have any questions for him, feel free to ask below, and we will ask them for you. So once again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Scene with Lauren and Danny here in the new year 2019. We're so excited to be back in the Homegrown Radio NJ studios here in Boonton, New Jersey. We're looking forward to a really great year filled with some fun interviews. And speaking of interviews, we have one happening in like 10 seconds. We have Brian Gallagher, who has a brand new hard rock musical, Brownstone, and I think we have him plugged in. Lauren's getting all set here. So again, if you have any questions for Brian, ask them on the Facebook, and we will ask him for you.
Yeah, don't text me because I'm not going to be looking at my phone. Anyway, so without further ado, we welcome to the Scene interwaves, Brian Gallagher. Hi, Brian.
Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
So it's
good morning. Good morning.
That's
morning.
Oh, it is. It's good morning for me. That's right.
Yeah, but
it's good morning for me, and I believe it's warmer for me.
It is warmer, although it's warm here.
Don't rub it in, Brian.
Sorry.
We had a little snow last night, but it's been New York warmy here.
Yeah.
Warmer than usual. But LA. So let's talk about that. Are you originally from LA? Or you?
No, I'm originally from New York. I'm from White Plains.
Oh, cool.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I grew up on the East Coast. New York still feels like home. I think it will always feel like home anytime I go back because that's where I grew up, and I don't know, it's who I am. Yeah. But now having two kids, a 4-year-old and a second who's about to be 2, LA is just easier.
Yeah.
It's considerably easier than being in Manhattan, and we have a yard, and our dog can run around, and I don't have to walk him at 2:00 in the morning in Manhattan, freezing winter, and
So
it's great.
So what are the holidays like with the 4 and 2-year-old? I bet they're fun.
I know.
They're great. They're quiet. We don't do anything. We stay home. My wife is from Seattle, and I'm from New York, but my family's all over the place. No one lives here. So it's not like we have a huge family we have to invite over or attend to. It's just the 4 of us. So we sit around in our pajamas all day, and Meg cooks. She's an amazing chef. And it's nice. It's quiet. It's easy.
So
it's lovely.
All right, I'm going to ask you, how did you guys meet?
Like all classy people, we met at a bar. A mutual friend, our friend Eden Espinosa, introduced us. I didn't stroll up to the bar and say, come here often or anything like that. We were introduced and we got along right away, and it was quick. It was really easy.
Love at first sight, right? I mean, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it sort of was, and I don't know, all the chips fell in all the right places, and now here we are 7 years later across the country with 2 children and a dog and a mortgage. It's great.
But you're living the dream
That's
because
right.
you're still doing show business. So we're going to talk about Brownstone, but you're a singer-songwriter. You do a lot of touring. You guys do stuff together, which I think is so cool.
Well, yeah. What's great about that is that the kids are able to come with us. They're still young enough. It's not like they're in school and they're missing lots of work or anything like that. If they come to New York with us for a few weeks or come on a little tour with us, it's great. The family gets to stay together, and my wife and I get to work together, and we know how lucky we are to be able to do that, and it's great.
And I got to give a little shout out to our mutual friend, Sean Janaz.
Yeah.
And Linda. We actually live in the same town. So I get to see Linda quite a bit now, which is nice. Not as much as I would like to, but more than I have in the past. So, shout out to Sean. And you guys do you guys know each other from Jekyll and Hyde?
We did, yeah. That's actually the last musical I was ever in. Now, I may go back to it again in the future, but with the 2 kids being small, the concert thing is just far easier and arguably more lucrative and everything else. Yeah. So it's great. But that we did Jekyll and Hyde on the Broadway together. It was a limited run. I'm not sure if it was a limited run on purpose, but it was a limited run.
I love that show.
Yeah.
We had the greatest time.
Love it.
That cast, I'm still good friends with a lot of the people I met in that cast, and that doesn't always happen. You kind of do the job, you move on, you go back to your life, but it was a killer bunch of people. No pun intended. It was. We really did. We all got along. It's one of those shows that there aren't very many young kids in it. It's not like there's a bunch of dancers and singers right out of college because they need younger characters. These were all people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Everyone was just kind of like, this is just nice and relaxed, and we're here, and it was great.
Yeah, I saw that show in high school, and I was in marching band, and we were obsessed with it. And we asked our marching band, our music teacher, if we could do the music from it. So that was part of our set. We did a whole Jekyll and Hyde, and we loved
that's cool.
Murder. I mean, it was just it was the best. And with the color guard, twirling those flags. It was so cool. It was just really fun.
No, I love it. I directed a community theater production of it, and I mean, I went all out with Matt. I loved it. It's one of my favorite shows. So
it's great. And I feel like anyone around our age who are into theater, or who do it professionally, or who work in that industry in some way, I feel like we can all trace how we sing back to that show or sideshow, that kind of belting, that kind of singing.
Yes.
It's like those were the Broadway cast albums that our generation listened to. These people singing their heads off and stuff.
But you know what? They're not riffing. I hate to even say this, but it's not the over riffing either. It's real, belting it out, not riffing your way to get to that note. It's real guttural singing, which I like. So let's talk about your musical. Because I love rock. I work at this theater, and all they give me to do are the rock shows. I'm doing American Idiot right now. So I loved the tracks that you sent me.
Cool.
So can you talk a little bit how this whole concept for Brownstone came to be? What was the moment that the light went off?
Well, I bounce everything off of my wife. So I had been talking for a long time about wanting to write a musical, because I've released a lot of rock music, but I also come from musical theater, so it made sense at some point to do a concept album that I intended to stage in a specific way. And I love horror movies. No one has ever maybe Sweeney Todd, but no one's ever really done a horror musical. I mean, and I know why, even saying horror musical sounds ridiculous. But I thought that, these days, the interactive thing is huge, and people these days go nuts for the walk through haunted houses or events like Sleep No More. So my intention for this always has been, and I'm hoping to mount something this year, sort of a walk through haunted house with a score and a narrative. So you meet these characters as you walk through, you watch their untimely demise, and then you watch them come back and haunt their murderer, but they're also haunting you at the same time. So it could conceivably be really scary and heavy rock and roll, because that could be, that sort of sets the tone.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I'm a huge horror fan myself, and I love going to those haunted houses.
Yeah.
And I'm usually that guy who like never gets scared, but I'm still enjoying the experience.
Oh, I get scared, but I like it.
Oh no.
Right.
I remember I went to one, and I was actually, it was in Pennsylvania, and I was really, this one really got me. And the guy like jumped over like a fence, and he hit my glasses, and they fell off. And then he goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Damn it! You had me until that moment."
Yeah, right.
But I got to ask, what's your favorite horror movie?
Oh man.
That's a gotcha question.
That is hard. I guess it's hard for me not to say The Exorcist, because that was like the first one that I kind of watched without permission one night after the parents fell asleep. That was the first one, because that's the one everyone talked about. That was the first one that gave me recurring nightmares. That was So I have a soft spot for it. It's like the first beer you ever tried. There's something in you that will always love that beer.
Yeah. Did you watch The Haunting of Hill House?
I haven't, but everyone I know, it's tough with the kids when they go to sleep. I don't want to watch. I want to watch mindless something.
Yeah.
I know. My kids are
there.
older. I mean, yours are little. Like, my little one is 8, so I feel like I'm finally like...
You're getting out of that.
I want to go back when you were like, it's easy to take the kids. Oh, you have no idea, because I have a whiteboard that...
Yeah, right.
Where every activity because I have 3, that every child does. So you're right. It is you're like in the easy part. It does get hard. Yeah. But Haunting of Hill House is definitely super fun. I was just curious. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, especially you, since you didn't see it. So when you watch it, we could, post about it, and we'll chat about it. Cause because it started off, I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but I did watch it. I
didn't finish watching
it. You didn't?
No.
Close friends of mine who know what I'm into have all said I would love it. Like I said, there's so many shows that we have to watch in the queue, and it gets to be 9:00 and the kids are asleep, and it's like, oh, just put on the British Bake Off again. I can't. I don't want. I can't start something where I have to think.
Be emotionally attached.
You know what? You
to
need
the
that.
characters.
You need that show that you could still do other things.
Like your guilty pleasure show.
You just need that background noise. So
that's right.
Were you gonna say that?
I was just gonna say. So as a singer songwriter, what comes first for you? I mean, is it the story, or do you have some lyrics that come to mind, and then you're putting music behind it? Is it is it a melody that comes to you? Talk a little bit about your process.
Sure. It's different for every song. I feel like that's a cop-out answer, but it's true. Sometimes everything comes at once and the entire song is written in 10 minutes. Sometimes it starts as just a lyric or as a poem, and I sometimes wait days, and I sometimes wait years for something to come along that makes sense and fits that, and can support what the lyric already is. And it completely varies. Sometimes I just have licks that I write and record and go, that'll go to something someday, and eventually it fits something. It completely varies. This interestingly, I'd say 95% of the lyrics were written first, and then I wrote a song to go with the lyrics.
So I was listening to Brownstone, and I would share it with our listeners, but you have to wait till January 22nd.
Sorry, guys.
And first of all, I loved it because there's all these really unique orchestrations. Do you do your own orchestrations too? Do you do everything, or do you have someone else?
No, my buddy Matt Cuson, who's a singer-songwriter too, and he's brilliant. He produced this, and he came up with all kinds of stuff. I don't know if he might be mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to say it because it's true. It is supposed to be a little jarring at times, and it is supposed to be scary. This whole album. And he'd send me stuff at like 2:00 in the morning and be like, so I'll be honest. I've had a couple of drinks. And he would just get creative and get nutty, and 95% of the stuff I ended up using because it's just great. Like, it's just...
There's this one sound in that Brownstone. It's like at the top. I don't want to ruin it, but it's like it's like a percussion, and I'm like, this is so creepy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's a little bit. Yeah, that was actually my drummer, the guy who played on that track. Actually, his name's Ryan Hoagie Hoagland. He played drums on the Jekyll and Hyde tour before he came to Broadway.
Okay,
so that's how I met him. See what I mean? Jekyll and Hyde, lots of friends.
Yeah,
and he's played a bunch of stuff with me. He's played a bunch of stuff with me and Meg. He's wonderful, and he came up with that idea to make it almost childish, but it evokes this sort of playfulness that is always creepy when the subject matter is the opposite of playful.
Right.
Well, and I think that's what horror is.
Well, I was just going to say,
I like to be scared. I love that feeling of being scared. Even though I'm terrified, I'm like, I loved it.
And
oh my God.
It reminds me of, you mentioned, your love of horror movies. And my favorite horror movie is Halloween.
Yeah, mine too.
And when I hear that music, Michael's coming, right? So it's like to 100%. to have that in Brownstone, it makes sense. It's creating that.
There is a repetitive theme that plays throughout, and it makes appearances in other songs. You'll hear that on the album. Did you see the new Halloween? I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm actually upset that I didn't because I was excited, that Jamie Lee Curtis was. I mean, I think she's been. I feel like she's been in all of them though somehow. Maybe there was one she wasn't in, but I was excited to see her back in there.
It did get good reviews.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, I wouldn't call this a horror movie, but I love the Scream movies.
I did too.
I
did too.
I
Wes Craven. Come on,
aren't they great? I mean, they're so well done. So good horror to me is just you want to have that moment when you're like, "What? Oh my gosh!"
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, this year that Quiet Place was great.
Oh, I have to see that.
Incredible! Yeah,
it was great. It was clever. It was just great, and it was scary as hell. It was just great.
I sat in the movie theater going like, I didn't want to move because I felt like every time I moved my leg, I freaked out.
Yeah. So, Brian, when you were like, a young boy in White Plains, what would you like throw on? Like, what vinyl? Like, would you throw on your record player?
Well, I was, I was a teenager in the 90s. I hesitate to say that because that makes me older.
No, I think we're the same age. We're probably roughly around. So I hear you.
Was there vinyls or were you playing cassettes?
I did. I did both.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay.
I did a lot of cassettes. True.
Yeah.
A lot of cassettes. But my dad had a record player at our house. So my father actually has great taste in music. So he'd play me all sorts of great punk rock stuff from the 70s and 80s. It was great. But as a teenager, it was, it was the age of grunge. I listened to Nirvana. I listened to Stone Temple Pilots. I listened to Soundgarden,
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I loved a good pop song too. Yeah. We were talking about this the other day, how I feel like pop music in the early to mid 90s was as good as it's ever been, and possibly as good as it will ever be.
Yes, I agree.
We got to listen to like popular radio stations and have like Whitney Houston and then Nirvana and then
Pearl Jam.
Yeah, and then Vogue. It was just
and then some great boy bands.
It was just a cool time where all kinds of music was popular, and I don't know.
You know what it is?
I feel bad for kids today.
No, well, because we have so much auto-tune.
Yeah.
Now we're like I brought up like the riffing. I teach music. I teach theater. I'm like that's and I had a student, and she was singing My Own Little Corner, My Own Little Chair, Rodgers and Hammerstein, right, straight forward, and the girl was riffing everything, and I kept on stopping her. I said, you have got to stop riffing. I said, this is not, but I feel like the kids today, that's what they think singing is.
Right.
It's you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
I do.
It's lost that guttural, real intent for me, because you're right. Like Whitney Houston was pop, considered pop back then. I mean, and who can top Whitney?
Nobody. The singers ever lived.
Yeah. Goddess. So speaking of goddesses, your story is a murderess, right?
She is.
I love. First of all, I love that because I think we think serial killer. I think we always think male.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wanted to mix that up a little bit, and I just have so many friends in my life who are ladies who I want to see murder people on stage. I think it would be great. Who can sing, like angels from hell, and then I mean that'd be like great rock and roll ladies. Who I don't know. I thought that would be fun. So it's a lady.
And speaking of great ladies, I mean, so your wife, you have this incredible talent at home. So when you're working on stuff, are you like, hey, come over here. Can you sing this for me?
Yes. Sometimes. Yeah. It's great. And she is very honest. She is the most supportive person on the planet. But she will, without hesitation, tell me, when she doesn't like something or when she thinks I can do better or and she's always right. Yeah. She's right a lot. I got
to say real quick, I have a good friend of mine, Dave O'Neill, who worked on he worked on Monster Songs that I know Megan was a part of. So yeah. So I don't know if you got to hear. I'm sure you got to hear that. That's fun.
Oh yeah, I bought it. I bought the Dave's book. It's really cool that Rob Rokiki, who wrote that, is one of my oldest, bestest friends. We've known each other now for like 15, 16 years. I love that. I think it's really fun.
So now so you're releasing the music. Where can you let our listeners know actually where they could get the record when it comes out?
Oh yeah, it'll be on iTunes, and you can stream it on Spotify, or it'll be on all the things. All of the streaming. Amazon. It'll be on everything. I haven't I don't have any shows planned for it yet because I'd like to start pursuing this as a sit down it's weird to say musical because it is a musical, but a sit-down event. It would be more of an event somewhere. So I haven't planned any shows for it or tour for it or anything like that. I'm just going to release the album and have. It's not every song, but it's the majority of them. Have that out there in the world for a little while, and then put up the show. It'll be great.
Will you workshop it, you think, like in LA, or will you come to New York? Or
I don't know. There are actually a couple things on the horizon already, and some possibilities. So I'm not going to answer that question because I don't know yet.
That's fair.
And if it ends up not at one of the ones I don't want to offend anybody. Or
I hear you.
Mad at me.
No, I hear you. So all right. So you have Brownstone's like your baby right now. That's going on. Yeah. You have your wonderful family. What else do you like? What else do you have going on? I know you like the British Bake Off. What else do you like?
Listen, there's not that much time for anything else.
Do you bake?
I do not bake. Actually, Megan doesn't even really bake.
It's too time consuming for me, but I do like.
She's an amazing cook, but she doesn't really. It's so different. There's so much science.
Yes, I was going to say that baking.
You nailed it. My sister's a pastry chef, and she goes, it's all those measurements. I'm telling you.
Because I'm Italian, so when I cook, I'll just
you want to improvise.
A little bit here, a little bit there, yeah.
But you can't do that with baking because, and I also don't have the patience for the decorating. I love watching people do the fondant. I'm like, this is really relaxing. But if
people who are good at it.
Yeah. But when I'm doing it myself, I'm like, this is tedious. I did one of those paint and sips, and it was supposed to be fun. Like, you're with your family and like you're drinking wine painting. That was the most intense experience for me. They actually came over. The instructors, they were like, relax. Because I guess this is too hard for me. Well, as an artist, I feel like well, some artists are more, regimented, and I'm regimented when I need to be, but I think the creative spirit, sometimes it's hard to be like someone to, to put a finger on, you know what I'm trying to say? Because I don't.
I do.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm right with you. Meg suggested we do this. Every Thanksgiving, we go up to Seattle to her family's house because Thanksgiving's really big in her family. And this year, we actually did a gingerbread house decorating contest.
Nice.
And it got heated though. It was a lot. There's a lot of creative people in that house. Meg's sister's an artist and a photographer. Meg's there's just a lot. There's a lot of expression in the house, so it got intense. The houses, and in the end, the houses were all really great. But
you didn't win, did you, Brian?
I'm not playing next year, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is next year I'm going to sit and eat leftovers and watch them.
There you
go.
And gingerbread's not easy to get the stuff to stay up, and it slides off. It's very frustrating.
I kind of have a beef with gingerbread because
I don't really like them.
They're gorgeous. But do you really want to eat them?
No.
I mean, like all that work, and then you can't really eat it.
You can
it's
eat
just
the candy.
Yeah, and they just don't taste good.
So, no, I agree. I agree with you, Danny. So, Brian, you haven't done... So, Jekyll and Hyde was the last musical that you did? Musical theater?
Yeah, I've done a couple little readings and workshops, but that's the last real production I've done. That was not closed, I think, 5 years ago-ish now.
Are you craving that? Are you craving?
A little bit. It's just tough, especially living in LA. If I were to go back into a musical, it would be in another city. It would probably, if it was going to be worth it, it would probably be at least a month or two run. And that's being away from the family. It would be too hard.
Yeah.
I do miss it a little bit though. But I get to tour with Meg and occasionally play my own shows, so I still get to.
You're still doing it.
Yeah.
To do that, and what's great about touring with Meg, the band is wonderful. There's 4 of us. We've been playing together now for years and years and years, and Meg is all about like, let's take songs on turns in the middle of the song. It's very in the moment. It's very fun. My microphone is on the whole show, so if Meg ever says anything where she's full of it, I get to go her spot on stage. Stuff like that. It makes it, I feel fully creatively fulfilled just singing a couple songs with Meg and playing guitar on the road with her.
Yeah, because that's where you are in your life now. You got your kids.
Would you ever do anything with your kids, like just the 4 of you?
Oh my gosh.
Little band.
Yes.
Little band. Our daughter just got a little drum kit.
Oh, no, I love that. That's so cute.
And she's not bad. And she came home from camp yesterday, and the first thing she said was, "Daddy, let's jam." And I said, "Yeah." So we did. We played as a family. Mom played the tambourine, and our son just screamed. It was great.
That's a video right there.
Yeah, right. So who knows? Maybe.
So January 22nd, you can go to all the music outlets.
All of them. And you can actually pre-order it on iTunes now.
Oh, cool.
It is up, and there's a single that you can get immediately from it. It's called Other Side of the Wall. Mm-hmm. It's actually one of the ballads in the show. It can't all be heavy rock and roll. You need some moments of levity.
Yes.
And it's sort of the Murderers I Want song. It comes towards the beginning of the show, but Meg sings it. That's really lovely.
And wait, you guys just did something at Lincoln Center. Wait, you just
did
something.
Yeah, we recorded a PBS special.
Yes.
It's Meg's concert.
That's okay. But talk about that a little bit.
It was the regular band, and we did a duet, and there's a couple other wonderful special guests, and it's great. It's going to air in May, I believe.
That's what I thought you said. I mean, it looks beautiful. Like,
that's the most beautiful room in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, quite literally.
Yeah.
Just overlooking Columbus Circle and Central Park like that is there's nothing like playing that room. It's,
the
it's
pictures
wild.
were gorgeous that you posted. But listen, if you come to New York and you don't
Yes.
tell me that you are doing this show, you're dead to me. No, I'm just kidding.
I
on the air
promise
now.
you will know.
Yes.
I promise.
So, Brian, can you let everyone know where they could find you and follow you on the social medias?
Sure. I'm at Brian G. Gallagher. There's an extra G in there because apparently there are a lot of Brian Gallaghers in the world, so I threw my middle initial in there. So it's Brian G. Gallagher, and that's on all of them. That's on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm just Brian Gallagher on the Facebook, but you might have to scroll through lots of Brian Gallaghers before you find
You know what? I do have another Brian. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't him.
Personally.
Oh, really?
I do.
Oh, that's so
weird.
funny. You're the only one I know.
Yeah.
You're the only one I know now.
Well, thank you.
You know, I really do. I like so appreciate that you gave me time today. I know
Yeah.
I hit you up on Facebook, and then Sean was like, hey.
Yeah, right.
I was like, I'm not kidding. We love talking to artists.
Don't you love that though? When it's like all of a sudden you're like, how do you know each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah, Sean's the best, man. He's actually, I did a concert in New York last year, maybe longer than that, 2 years ago. And Sean came up and did one of the songs from this album that the whole thing hadn't been written yet, but I debuted a few of them. And Sean sang one of them, sang the crap out of it.
He's definitely a tenor of rock. I mean, we know that, right?
Yes.
Which is amazing. But
Yeah.
no, I so appreciate you giving us time. I know that
Absolutely.
you know how busy. I know how busy it is with little people in the house,
Well,
especially at
thanks
those
for letting me call in like this.
Yeah.
This is really great.
And I'm
Thank you.
excited for you. So you can go follow Brian G. Gallagher on Twitter and Insta and all. And did you say YouTube? Did he say YouTube? I don't remember. No.
No.
No, I'm on YouTube, which is where this interview will be at January 22nd. But you could pre-order
On
his-
iTunes.
On iTunes,
Yeah, you sure can.
his album now. You get a song, you get a single, and then January 22nd, you get the whole record.
Yep.
And I love rock musicals.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually, it's funny, I'm directing a production of Legally Blonde later on this year, and which I'm looking forward to. I love working. But after I'm doing We Will Rock You right after this, and then
that's fun.
so I'm gonna be. I love rock musicals.
Yeah.
I'm the musical theater person that I listen to rock music in my car.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, so I get
absolutely.
it. So
Absolutely.
I was very impressed with what
And
you sent
thanks.
me.
I wanted, and I legitimately wrote this for people like you / us.
Yeah.
People
Right.
who love musical theater and who work in musical theater, and who come from musical theater, but when they get in their car, they're probably going to put a rock and roll album
Yeah.
Oh,
on
yeah.
as opposed to
I'm gonna
the
scream
newest
my
soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm like,
Right.
I always say, I'm not throwing on musical theater in my car. I'm like,
Right.
it's
Right.
more like the Sex Pistols.
Right.
You know,
Like I have Sirius XM in the car, and yes, the Broadway station is saved, but like,
right.
But that's only
is like
occasionally,
lithium
yes.
and
Oh, of course. Well, Lithium is one of my favorite. Are you kidding me on XM?
and Alt Nation and
I love that
XMU
you
and
brought
all that
up
stuff.
Nirvana because I was a senior in high school when Kurt Cobain killed himself. Were you a senior? Did you graduate in 94?
No, I graduated in '98, so I think I saw.
Oh my God, I'm so much older. I'm older. That's okay. I'm used to being the old lady. But yeah, I was. Listen, I'm hanging out with all these 20-year-olds and
graduated
American
2001.
idiots and talking about grandma.
It's perfect.
But I'll never forget my boyfriend at the time. His mother pulled me aside because people were like freaking out when Kurt Cobain killed himself. She was like worried he was going to like kill himself. I'm like, no, he's not going to kill himself. He's fine. But that was my time. It was like you said, Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam, Nirvana. I mean, my favorite thing to do is when I drop my kids off at school in the morning, and I'm driving home. I just put on my music. And I rock out in my sweatpants.
Question: what was the first concert you ever went to? Like by yourself, like with friends?
With
Oh,
friends.
my God.
Okay. My first ever concert was New Kids on the Block with my dad and my cousin.
Fantastic. That's a good one.
That's
Good answer.
You know,
listen, I'm proud of that.
my-
And then my
yeah.
one with my friends, Pink Floyd.
Great one.
Yeah,
Good answer.
and we went 2 nights in a row. We went. It was at Giant Stadium.
Wow.
That was yes. That was so fun.
Mine was the Backstreet Boys.
Danny loves yes.
And then Eminem, who was like.
I love Eminem though. I love Eminem. Brian, what was your first?
Mine was Bush.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And No Doubt opened for
Oh
them.
my God.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's like when they started dating.
Yeah.
And actually, the first band that went on was the Goo Goo Dolls.
So
it was
my God.
And if they did that concert again today, it would probably be in reverse order. But it was great. They were all great. It was great.
Our friend Rob we're on Facebook Live just wrote
Bon
he saw
Jovi.
Bon Jovi and then someone
Depeche Mode.
Yeah, Bon Jovi 85 and Depeche
for you.
Mode. I know, right?
Good
All these
answers.
people.
Yeah,
Good
Goo Goo Dolls and No Doubt was big. Like when I
the
was in high
90s.
school.
But you know what I love?
Yeah, that was.
I love that the musical theater world is taking. I mean, I appreciate the old Chestnuts, the Oklahomas. I mean, I love all that stuff. But I love, like, even like with American Psycho, I'm kind of dying to direct that one. I just think you need like a good personnel because it's a messy show.
Uh-huh.
But I love,
Right.
I love
of
the
blood.
turn that musical theater, like the raw. Like for people like us, like with tattoos and everything. That I appreciate musical theater, but I'm not. I was asked to choreograph a show, and then he said, "But I have someone for Anything Goes." I said, "Oh, that's not my show." I said, "Don't worry about me being offended. I'll go see Anything Goes, and I will love all that tap dancing, but."
Yeah.
Those days for me are gone. When people ask me to choreograph a show, because my choreography is weird, so I'm like, "Are you sure that you?" I always say yes, and they look at me when I'm like working. But that's why, like your show, and even like doing American Idiot is stretching me a little bit.
Totally.
And
did you get to see American Idiot on Broadway?
I never saw it, and we're actually doing it in a black box setting,
Cool.
so it is very. It's going to be very loud. Very intense.
raw and in your face.
Yes.
That's great. That's really neat.
And I feel like if you think I feel old, I mean, I'm hanging out with these 22-year-olds, but you know what I love about them? They love the score. They are
because the score is great.
Yeah.
I remember when that album came out. That's an album I wore out.
Yes.
I loved that album. It's just great. It's just great. I saw it on Broadway, and I picked tickets for a random night. It wasn't like there was no reason for me to pick the tickets. I just kind of said, "Oh, I'm free 2 weeks from Thursday. I'll go that night." And I went, and it was the first night, and it was a surprise. Nobody knew, but Billy Joe Armstrong was in.
Oh God, it was St. Jimmy, right? I would have loved to have seen that.
It was 100% luck. It was a completely random day, and it happened to be because they didn't make a big deal of it. Because I think I watched the documentary on it. I think he was nervous, and so they were like, "It'll be a surprise. It'll be great."
Yeah.
And it was very.
Oh,
cool.
I bet.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's funny because like the first musical I saw was Les Mis, but
mine was 42nd
But mine
Street.
was like Rent, and like I saw Jekyll and Hyde and Aida. Like it was,
that's like our time.
Yeah, just had that.
That's our time. And Ragtime was right around like when we were in college.
Ragtime.
All those shows with just people parking and barking.
Yeah.
Doing the scanner and sing your head off and then leave.
But hitting every note. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like, you're like blown away and not even hitting every note, like the emotion that goes behind it. Because that's one thing we talk about too.
Totally.
And I'm like, the acting's the most important thing. I'm like, you have to sing, please don't sing off key.
Right.
And don't change anything. But if you're not acting the shit out of this, I go, I'm not,
I'm not invested.
Even on a recording. And that's why I think even if you're in a studio, you still have to act the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think all of the auto-tune stuff and all the stuff that's just sort of mathematically perfect and it's just not gonna hit you the same way as a live performance, whether it's in a studio or not, whether you're comping some vocal tracks or not. If it's real and in a moment, then I feel like a listener is gonna catch that.
I agree, because I feel like with the auto, I feel like music now is cold.
Yeah,
It's like
because-
overproduced and
I
cold.
feel like
Yes.
there's no genre. It just all sounds the
Yeah, it
same.
all
I
sounds
mean,
the
it's
same.
because I remember like in the '90s, you had like it was pop, but you had R&B,
Right.
you had the rock, you had
Right.
rap music,
Right.
and now it's just rap and R&B, and it just all sounds the same.
Brian,
Yeah,
how
well,
do you
there
listen?
are great artists out there. It's just hard to find them
I
now
know.
because the major labels don't make any money on them
Yeah.
anymore. So it's like, because no one buys music anymore, which, I mean, that's the new world we live in. You got
Yeah.
to figure out a way
Right.
around it. But, I get it, kind of, but it is unfortunate that every
Right.
song on pop radio is the same song over and over again.
Yeah, and it's cold and it sounds overproduced and it sounds too perfect. What is your favorite way to listen to music? What's your favorite?
I like to take my dog for a long walk and just listen to albums from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta do that.
So that's kind of it. I know he's going to get a good 45 minutes to an hour
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
deal, and I can sort of, it's my time to zone out every day and just listen to tunes.
Is that when you do your
that's how I do it.
is that when you do your creating? Because that's when I do my creating. Like, because I like to run and I exercise, so I will listen to a show tune if I'm working on a show.
Yeah,
Obviously,
sure.
until you hear the music, but I could be on the treadmill for a half hour and just get lost in. Even if it's not a Broadway show, any type of album, any type of
Right.
record, and like I'll
Yeah.
see like pictures start happening in my head.
Totally.
Is that what
totally.
like do you
Absolutely.
get into that creative zone?
Yeah. And it has happened. We're listening to something sort of inspired. Oh, that song needs to sound like this. I mean, in terms
Yeah.
of orchestration, not in terms of like, I'm
Right.
not stealing from anybody, but, you kind of write lyrics to some, I'm working on something new now that's similar in ways, but not really, but it's the same, it's intended to be the same sort of immersive, scary experience. But in writing the songs for this, again, I've started with lyrics for a lot of them. That seems to be the new way I like to work. Sometimes the song and the lyric come together at the same time, but these days I usually write the lyric first. And so I'll write a lyric, and it is on these walks that I'll often get ideas for how the tune should go or how I want it to sound in general, whether it be a country song or a blues song or a rock song or whatever.
What's your favorite genre? Besides, we talked about Nirvana. We all know I know we all love that. But like,
Yeah.
like I dabble. Like I love Eminem. I could throw
Yeah,
on Eminem
yeah.
and be
Oh,
like
sure,
a rapper.
sure.
All of a sudden I'm a
Yeah.
rap star.
She's a
Well,
rock
I like folk music. I like the 70s singer-songwriters
Yeah.
like James Taylor and Jim Croce
Ooh,
and
yes.
and Carole King and all of them
Yeah.
too. That's what I grew up on. That's because that's what my mother listened to.
Right.
So I love that stuff too. I love anything acoustic. I love. I kind of love anything. If it's
Yeah.
a good song, and
a
it's
good song.
honest,
Yeah, a
it
good song is a
doesn't
good song.
matter what genre it is. If it's the same song I've heard 300 times over the last couple of years, then not so much.
We spent New Year's Eve. I was saying we stayed home and we lit the fire and we listened to Alexa and we were listening
That's
to
nice.
the Aces, just like surf rock.
Uh-huh.
We were having such a great time, just
That's
dancing.
awesome, yeah.
I'm like, this is music. This is great music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
The Aces, like we all know, I can't remember the one song that they wrote, but, and then as Alexa will just keep on playing, I'm like, wow, this is this song too. And then a half hour later, I'm in like the Alexa, worm, rabbit hole.
Yeah, right. Right.
I mean, but I know there's
Alexa,
so much
shut up.
music out there.
Yeah, right.
I can recommend because I love finding music, and I'm always like scrolling and also owning a radio station. We meet a lot of
course.
musicians. So I used to not really like country, and now I'm like, oh, I kind of like this country song. I'm like, who dis? I don't know. Like, it's fun.
Right.
Well, they're such storytellers too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like
Yeah,
the lyrics
yeah.
behind it too. It's just there's a great story there.
Now, but do you have music? You have music out now, right? Besides Brownstone, you have.
Yeah, I have a couple. Well, actually, I released something last year. It was a little sort of taste for Brownstone. I just called it Brownstone Volume 1. And so there's actually 6 songs from Brownstone on that, and it's available on iTunes, and you can stream it on Spotify or any of the things already. So 6 they've been remastered and a bit remixed for the whole album, but essentially the 6 of the songs are already up. And then I released an album a couple of years ago called All That's Ahead that did really well, actually. It was #1 on the iTunes Blues charts for a couple of weeks, and it did pretty great. It was my first album. It was my first try. I do like a lot of it.
Well, that's good.
I do. Yeah, it's weird. You continue to grow, you continue to evolve as a player, as a songwriter, and you look back on earlier songs and songs that people really like. Some songs that are my wife's favorites, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I could have done that better. I don't know. But it was great, and I'm proud of it. And that's up too. So my album All That's Ahead's up as well.
Yeah, you had a nice little nod from Broadway World.
I did, yeah. They wrote a really nice.
Yeah, that was a great review.
Do you ever go back and so do you ever go back and when you do listen to music, oh, I wish I did that. Do you ever go back and just tweak it?
I do. And that's kind of the thrilling thing about writing your own music and performing it sometimes is that the song can evolve as long as I play it, and there are some songs that have changed. Some popular songs of mine that used to get requested all the time when I would go play that first album have changed over the years. They've also changed because a couple times I've heard other people cover some of my songs, and I don't have an ego in this way. Sometimes I hear it and say, "Oh, that's better. I'm going to do it that way from now on."
Yeah.
No, and you know what? I love that you said. I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh no, I'm done. That was it.
I was going to say with the no ego thing. When I learned to let go of my ego, I felt like my art started to get better. Like, sure. I didn't take everything so personally. Like even now, like if I'm a choreographer, I'm working with a director, and he's like, I kind of don't like this. I'm like, okay, well, where once that would really shake me, and I'd be like annoyed. Right. Now I'm like, all right, well, what do you want? Let's make it work.
Let's work together.
Because the goal is to make your song good or the show good.
Totally. If it sounds better, then I want it to sound like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is so true.
It makes me look better. It makes you look better. It makes everyone look. If we have to tweak things, if we have to change things, everybody's different. I think it's really, and some of these songs on Brownstone I did write with specific voices in mind or specific actors in mind, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll end up singing it or playing it. But it's great to try to imagine what some friends would do with a song and then write it accordingly. You know what I mean? It helps in the writing process. It helped me make everything really specific. Yeah. So now I'm rambling.
Yeah.
No, we're fine.
So you talked about walking your dog and just unwinding that way. We talk a lot about self-care and. So what are some things you do that's not work related at all?
Like not TV,
right. Nothing for yourself, just for you that you do to take care of yourself essentially.
I do get a massage once a month. It's
nice.
Awesome.
It feels like a selfish expense, but
it's so worth it.
Yeah, you know what? I really think I know it is. That's why I'm continuing to do it.
Yeah.
So I do that. I love going to the movies by myself. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I don't do it very often, but there are some nights that sometimes she'll even say to me like, babe, you need to go. But I see, you can recognize it in your spouse when they're getting close. And fortunately, we've never been close at the same time. It's either me or her.
Yeah.
But sometimes when she sees that I'm getting close to an explosion, she says, just go. Go to the movies, do your thing. I love getting my big popcorn and my big soda and sitting there by myself and enjoying a movie in the dark.
That's so, and it's funny because I love to go to the movies by myself too, and I usually like to go to like the first showing of the day. Like if I have the day off, I'll go to It's just me and like a couple senior citizens. Yeah, at like 10:30 in the morning.
I do. We only did one, but me and some girlfriends, because I wanted to see Stars Born, and no one. And I said, you know what? Does anyone want to go like to the first? It's like $5, and I had girlfriends from like different walks of my life. We met up. We saw the movie. It was great, and it was like us and like 3 other people. But I love that you said, you know, that your wife or you recognize when you're gonna, you know, have like explode, because it's, you know, that's what life is, right? Living with someone, like you get along, but you're gonna have these really human moments when you might have an emotion that's bubbling up that you can't.
Well, especially with a 4-year-old and a 21-month-old. It's just, you know, and a dog who will do things that, you know, will maybe set you. And it's just like, I know that you are one thrown spoon of food away from possibly murdering somebody. To blow off steam, my wife goes to Target, literally.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one too.
She calls a couple girlfriends. They go to Target.
I love that.
Legitimately 2 or 3 hours later, she'll come home and be a new person. It's something.
It is. It's like that's
the magic of Target.
It is. It's like the happiest place. I know Disney, but there's something about Target has everything. Clothes. Oh, I love Target. I'm with her. Go Megan.
So I go to a movie by myself and then goes to Target. That's how we go blow off steam when we just need some quiet time to recenter and come back and feel guilty about the fact that we were going to lose our minds 3 hours earlier.
Well, from parent to parent, how are you feeling about the 2-year-old age? Because I'm going to tell you,
it's hard. Yeah. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. Yeah.
I thought 3 was hard. I thought 2 was still like, they were still like, oh, and then 3 happened. Now, I don't know, because your daughter's older, so I don't know what her 3-year-old was like.
3, the first half of 3 wasn't great. But 2s were really hard with my daughter. But now she's in preschool.
Right.
She's mellowed out a lot, and she just turned 4 in September, and she is now this delightful, hilarious little spitfire. She's just wonderful. Yeah. She's magic. But it was hard. It was real hard for a long time. And I think I mean, what do I know? But I think it's a language thing, because he is now starting to go through it, our son, who will be 2 in March, where he has specific desires and specific wants. And if you try to give him something that's not that, he can't say, no, Dad. I'm talking about the red box, not the blue box. You know, he can't do that. So he just screams at us. And he was such a sweet, simple boy for a long time. And just in the last 2 months, it's like, oh no. Your sister mellows out and you start like, we thought we were going to have like a little window where we could, I don't know, sleep or something.
No, forget that.
But so it's a real thing. But now that my daughter has all sorts of vocabulary, and you know, she's 4, she talks like an adult. Like a sassy little adult.
Oh, of course.
She doesn't have these kind of meltdowns anymore, because I think she can actually tell us what she wants, and when we say no, we can explain why, and she can understand. I think that's all that is.
It is the language. It's the language, and they don't know how to express their emotions. If they're mad, which we adults learn sometimes.
So true.
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
A Jack Russell.
I have a Jack Russell.
He's a delight. What's your dog's name?
Felix.
Felix. We have Harley. He's a good boy. He's 12 now, and you would know it by looking at him, but wouldn't know it by how he chases and catches the ball.
That energy. That Jack Russell energy is crazy.
I want a French bulldog so bad, but I kind of don't want a dog because I have 4 kids. My oldest is 22. My youngest is 8. So I kind of feel like I just got out of that whole super dependent on me. So I'm like, do I want a dog? So I dog sit for my best friend's dog when she goes away, and I love it.
Yeah.
because I get the dog love, but there is something so magic about dogs. I don't know what
there
it is.
Oh, there absolutely is. They make everything better.
Now, how does your dog react to squirrels when he's?
Oh, bad. It's bad. I
feel like I'm the guy like running down the street with my dog, because when
I would love
sees
to see
us,
that.
Oh yeah, he's real smart. But he sees red when he sees a squirrel, and it's a sight to behold.
Yeah.
He almost hasn't made it a couple of times when children were sleeping for the first time in days, and he has seen a squirrel and woken them. He walked a very thin rope a couple times, but we've gotten through all that, and it's a time.
Yeah. But you know what? Like I said earlier, you're living the dream. As my coworker, he'd always says to me, "You're living the dream, babe."
Or you're living your best life.
You got the family. You're doing the showbiz. So I mean, it's hard, but it sounds so cliche. It's temporary because they do get old. I mean, when people say they grow so quickly, I'm like, holy God, I'm gonna have a high schooler next year.
Yeah.
So they really.
I mean, even the last 4 years, it's like I've heard recently, and I think this is totally true. The days are very long, but the years are very short, and I think that's true.
It is so true, and you know what? It's character building, because I feel like if I didn't have my kids, I wouldn't be the artist I am today. I don't know
I'm sure that's true.
Sure that's true. Brian, thank you so much. Once again, Brian G. Gallagher on Twitter and Insta. And Facebook, Brian Gallagher, January 22nd, Brownstone, iTunes, Spotify, all Amazon, all the musics. You could do a pre-order. But yeah, Brian, thank you so much.
Yeah, I got to say,
thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We interview a lot of people here, and I feel like we know you.
I know.
mean, just this conversation has just been so fun.
We would honestly keep on talking, but my producer's like, wrap it up now.
Stop. And if you let that guy continue to talk, he will ramble for the next 20 minutes.
No, it's not you. It's us, because he knows how we are. No, I mean, I so appreciate you taking out your time today, because I know you had a busy schedule, and then we were able to nail this down.
Yeah, this was great. But guys, thank you so much for having me.
If you come to New York, and I'm not kidding, you do not let me know.
I promise you will.
I will unfriend you. That'll show him. No,
maybe the second. You'll be the second to know. I'll call my mom, and then I'll call you.
Call me. You better, Brian, because I have your number. No,
I want to meet your dog. Bring your dog with you too.
Yeah, really.
I will. Oh, absolutely.
Good luck with everything. This is so exciting. I love, like I said, I met the immersive theater. I love the change up of theater. I love that we're not so black and white anymore. We're kind of embracing this gray area musically.
Yeah.
And and I'm gonna. Like I said, we record, so I'll let you know when this podcast is up, and you could share. This was great.
Super. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I will. Thanks so much. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. That was fun.
It's funny though, because like right from the start of the interview, I was like, I feel like we know him. Like we just talking to him, and he was just really fun to talk to, and it's. I felt like we could really be ourselves.
We could.
Sometimes we enjoy everybody we have on, but sometimes I feel like we have to put on like interviewer hats. And with him, it was just really laid back and chill,
because he's a rock guy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. He's a rock guy. But did we talk about the ballets with a twist? We did.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
I couldn't remember. All right, relax. Getting on me.
That was so 2018.
That was so 2018. This was a pretty great interview for our first 2019.
Right. I think it was a great way to kick off 2019.
I know.
And if you missed it, you can watch it on YouTube.
Yes, you can.
Or you can watch, or if you're on Facebook,
I have a couple
of
interviews. Kevin's gonna have to get these up for me.
We gotta figure it out.
We gotta figure it out.
Yeah. Kevin with his wrap-up finger.
I know. He's like,
we're gonna get Kevin a big finger that says like, wrap it up. I'm gonna give Kevin the
middle finger. I think that's it.
Wrap it up,
Kevin. Do you think Facebook will make this our thumbnail?
Wrap it up, Kevin. Wrap it up.